From a 13-year-old child falling off a roller coaster to a huge chunk of metal falling on a man's head into a train ride that flew off the track. Today we're going to take a look at 20 Disney rides that killed people. Let's get started with number 20, Space Mountain. The space-themed roller coaster witnessed an unfortunate incident in August 1971. A woman became ill after the ride and could not get out. The lady was barely conscious as they took her to the hospital, where she went into a coma and died 1 week later. She was found to have a tumor lodged in her brain. This was the third instance where someone with pre-existing health conditions had died after going on the ride. Number 19, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. An extreme graphic accident took place in September 2000 when a young boy fell from the Roger Rabbit ride and got stuck under another car, suffering severe internal injuries and brain damage. The 4-year-old lost his ability to talk and walk after the incident. He died 8 years later. The State Division of Occupational Safety and Health issued that employees failed to secure Brandon's lap bar properly and ordered the park to make the changes required. Number 18, Splash Mountain. The Splash Mountain water ride is certified fun for all, but this 37-year-old man took it too far and stepped out of the boat halfway through the ride, stating that he was feeling ill. Unfortunately, he slipped in between the boats and got pinned under the logs. As he tried to escape, an oncoming boat rammed into him, fatally injuring the person. He was then rushed to the emergency room, where he died hours later. Number 17, It's a Small World. This might come as a shocker, as you may wonder how someone can die in a ride as tame as It's a Small World. It's true, folks. A 22-year-old woman with pre-existing health conditions lost consciousness after going on the ride and died shortly after that. What I find really sad is that she took the ill-fated ride on Christmas Day of all days. Number 16, Mission Space. Disaster could have been avoided had this 4-year-old boy been barred from joining his parents on the ride. However, the child met the height requirement, so he was allowed on the ride. The boy was unconscious as the ride ended, and paramedics tried to revive the child, who later died at the hospital. The medical examiner's office explained that the boy had died of an existing heart condition that caused his heart to be enlarged. Number 15, Primeval World. This happened to an employee of Disney rather than a joyrider. This unfortunate individual fell from the elevated platform of Disney's Primeval World in November 2007, hitting her head and sustaining severe injuries, which later turned out to be fatal. After the accident, Disney announced a new sensor system to detect people in off-limit areas and stop the ride for everyone's safety. Number 14, Expedition Everest. In 2007, a man riding the Expedition Everest lost consciousness and was rushed to the nearest hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The doctors found out that his death was due to weakening his heart muscles, which made it difficult for the heart to pump blood. Disney stated that this was a death due to natural causes and that no one was to be blamed. Number 13, Skyway Station. 65-year-old Disney employee Raymond Barlow was on the platform when the other employees switched the cable car, unaware of his presence, sending one of the gondolas towards him, sweeping him off his feet. Barlow grabbed onto the compartment and tried to hoist himself in. Still, his attempt to save himself failed as he fell on a flower bed 40 feet below, sustaining heavy damage, succumbing to death later. Number 12, Tom Sawyers Island. On one fateful evening of June 1973, Bogdan Doloret and his 10-year-old younger brother hid inside Tom Sawyers Island past closing hours to have some mischievous fun. But disaster struck as they tried to swim across deep waters of Rivers of America to get out. Bogdan tried carrying his brother on his back and drowned halfway through the lake. Philip Strawn also drowned in Rivers of America at his graduation night party in June 1983. Number 11, Seven Seas Lagoon. Dangerous alligators would be the last thing one would expect at a children's theme park, yet it was exactly what ended up taking the life of a 2-year-old boy who had wandered into the white sand Seven Seas Lagoon in Florida in June 2016. The body was found the next day. Since the death of the toddler, 226 alligators were caught by wildlife trappers from Disney World property. Number 10, People Mover. A seemingly harmless ride used to transport people across the park led to the death of 17-year-old Ricky Lee Lama on August 21, 1967. Ricky was attempting to jump between two moving cars as the ride was entering a tunnel. He missed the landing and fell on the tracks and was run over by an oncoming train. The ride had to be then taken apart to retrieve his body. Number 9. Star Tours, the adventures continue. A 67-year-old man died of a heart attack after attending the Star Tours ride in Disney's Hollywood studios. Although there had been several cases of passengers feeling dizziness and chest pain after going on the ride, reports stated that the man had a pre-existing heart condition. If anyone has a pre-existing heart condition, then this probably isn't the ride for them. Number 8. Disney Float. This tragic accident took place at a Disneyland parade rather than a ride. During the preparation for a float procession, the 38-year-old employee dressed as a beloved animal character, Pluto, had his foot stuck in the part of the float and got run over and killed. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration then fined Walt Disney Entertainment $6,300 for violation of safety standards. Number 7. Monorail. On the 5th of July 2009, an employee died when a monorail crashed onto another monorail. The monorail pink on the Epcot line was supposed to switch lanes and go to the Magic Kingdom, but instead stayed on the line.
You had one job.
And backed up to collide with the monorail purple, moving in the opposite direction, killing the conductor at the back of the train. Number 6. America Sings. In 1974, Disney introduced a new fun attraction called America Sings, which featured a rotating theater and singing robots. As fate would have it, on July 19, 1974, one of the hostesses working at the event was killed in a freak accident where she got stuck between a moving theater wall and a stationary wall as the show rotated back to its original position. The attraction was later officially shut down in 1988. Number 5. Body Wars. This sad incident occurred at Disney's Epcot Center on May 16, 1995. The 4-year-old Linda Baker passed out 5 minutes into the Body Wars ride and was rushed to the emergency room by the Disney workers and her mom. She died very shortly after that, and with the cause of death being cardiac arrhythmia. The doctors stated that Linda had a congenital heart defect. The intense experience most likely triggered the arrhythmia. Number 4. Rock and Roller Coaster. Sadly, we have another death here due to heart problems. The 12-year-old Michael Russell seemed unresponsive to his family after the rock and roller coaster had ended. His dad attempted to give him CPR, and he was then rushed to a hospital where he died shortly after. Although his parents claimed that Michael was a healthy child, the medical examiner determined that he had a congenital heart defect. Number 3. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Disney's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is one of the biggest attractions, but its past is not something easily forgotten. Due to poor maintenance and neglect, the train flew off the track in a dark tunnel in 2003, injuring 10 passengers and killing 22-year-old Marcelo Torres, who suffered severe blunt force trauma, multiple lacerations, and internal bleeding. Reports later stated that the wheel assembly keeping the lead car on track had fallen off. Crazy, right? Number 2. Sailing Ship Columbia. This tragic accident occurred out of nowhere on December 24, 1998. When an iron cleat used for tying ropes fell off Disneyland's Columbia sailing ship, landing on 33-year-old Luan Phi Dawson's head. Dawson suffered heavy damage to his brain and was brain dead for several hours before being taken off life support. A lawsuit filed against Disney was settled in court, and the family was paid $25 million. Number 1. Matterhorn Bobsled. Matterhorn Bobsled is one of the oldest rides in the park and holds the spot for Disneyland's first fatality. The first death in the park history occurred in May 1964 when one of the passengers unbuckled his seatbelt and stood up on his seat as the ride was going to descend. The 13-year-old lost his balance and fell onto the concrete mountain, taking severe head trauma, which led to his death hours later. Enjoyed the video? Now watch this one.